In today's Gospel of Luke, chapter 16, verses 1 to 13, we hear the parable of the rich man who learns his manager has been squandering his property. The manager is called in and told to give an accounting of his management because his position is being terminated. What is he to do since he will no longer be employed? So he takes stock of his situation and thinks to himself, I'm not strong enough to dig and I don't want to beg. And he comes up with an idea. He summons his master's debtors and asks one of them how much he owed the master, and was told 100 jugs of oil. Then he said to him, take your bill, sit down quickly, and make it 50. Then he asked another how much he owed. The man replied, 100 containers of wheat. Take your bill and make it 80, he was told. When the master heard what the manager had done, he commended him for acting shrewdly. I puzzled over that line. If the rich man didn't get all that was owed to him, why wasn't he angry? There's no mention of the steward giving up his commission. Perhaps the adjusted amount of the debts was the fair price for oil and wheat, without the additional high percentage of interest. Meanwhile, the manager had secured a place for himself with the debtors he had helped, and would be likely welcomed into their homes when he was no longer employed. The rich man may have admired his manager's tactics, but he still fired him. The word shrewd was used to describe the manager of the rich man's property. The dictionary refers to the word shrewd as having or showing sharp powers of judgment, astute. It also means sharp-witted, canny, perceptive, and far-sighted. All of these definitions can surely apply to our dishonest manager. He assessed his present situation and knew whatever he decided to do, it would impact on his future, and he had to take that into consideration as well. There is a lesson to be learned here, planning for the future while living in the present. We have to plan ahead for our retirement when we know we will no longer be receiving a paycheck. It's important to have some balance in our lives, to look after our own needs to the extent that we don't become a burden to others, but also to know how to share with others who are unable to meet their own needs. Jesus said, no slave can serve two masters, for a slave will either hate the one and love the other, or be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and wealth. Jesus is pretty clear about telling us that if the accumulation of money becomes our obsession, then it also becomes our master and takes priority over everything else in our lives. The word entitlement seems to be used a lot lately. To be on the receiving end of all that is good. Family members sometimes contest the will of a deceased father because they haven't been named as beneficiaries. They assume, I suppose, that the deceased parent owed it to his children because he was the father and they were family. Kind of makes you wonder about their relationship. We have our earthly families, but we are also children of God. He is our Father. Does He owe us anything? What kind of relationship do we have with our Heavenly Father? What do we expect to receive from God? And what is it that we offer to Him? In Luke's Gospel reading, the rich man entrusted the manager to look after his property. God has entrusted us with the earth He created for us. Everything we have is a gift from God. God is the owner, and we, His children, are His stewards or caretakers. We are the caretakers of all that God has given us. We can be like the dishonest manager in this parable and think only of ourselves, or we can be just and honest stewards, sharing and caring and preserving and serving only one master, our God and Father. Thank you for letting me share my reflection.